Man, it is official. I am definitely too scared to put it all out there on a podcast. I have to do retakes, and sometimes I say some shit and I'm like, I can't say that. And I really don't. I don't read off a list. I just go with a topic. I notice like two things. I stick to two things and then I just go for it, so I don't have to make too long of a recording. But shit. Oh, that last one I posted, I felt like I vented too much about dating. And I kind of, the people that heard it told me that it was real. I appreciate the real. However, at the same time, the emotions that come later on, you're kind of just like, maybe I shouldn't have said all that. In theory, as the cloud, as the dust settles, as the dust settles, it was probably for the better. But no, I mean, still, I guess, hey, I think the real question just comes down to like, how far do I put myself out there? You know, that's the thing. It's like you either got to do it or not. And I like doing it. You know what gets me, man, seriously, is the idea that I can listen to this in like 40 years. The idea that I'm going to listen to this in 40 years and be like, wow, man, I was struggling. Who knows where I'll be. Oh, yeah, maybe I'll look at this as, how will I view this time is kind of what makes me do this. So it's like I do them for myself. I still send them to myself, even though I record sometimes, and the reality is I probably only post half of what I record. I record a lot of shit sometimes. Sometimes it's just ideas. Sometimes it's just rants that initially start off to become a podcast and then end up just becoming just me airing shit out. I send my mom, my dad, my brother, I send them private ones, And on all these levels, I try to stick it to about 20 minutes so that I can keep it within emailable size, manageable. And, so I enjoy it. I really do. Because it helps me figure shit out. So it is what it is, man. I guess, we'll figure this shit out. Now, the reason I'm bringing all this shit up is because I've recently just learned what Patreon is about. And I didn't really know too much about Patreon. I knew the gist, which was like it's a crowdfunder type of thing. But I didn't know the extent of it. And it's really, in a nutshell, it's like you make art and people pay to see it. And then there's extra stuff. So it's like everything I do now, which no shit, probably, I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was when I was in Texas. Or maybe it was when I was in New York. I can't remember. But I distinctly remember having moments where I was just like, I'm so sick of having to do this, post all these videos and pictures and stuff like that. And my friend that got me on the social media tip back in 2013 was like, stick with it, man, Stick with it. It'll become something. You gotta just keep doing what you do, and your audience and your followers and stuff like that will come to you, and then eventually, your work becomes something that your work will become what you want it to become. And honestly, the bottom line is that I just simply want to make a living drawing illustrations and making animated movies, making animated shorts. Crazy shit is I've got enough content and stories to keep myself busy for about 10 years. And that's what I have now. That's not even the stories that I'm going to have next year and the year after that, because I always come up with shit. So it only makes sense to go into business for myself and do these things for myself. But the frustration was figuring out how to make all that come together without the traditional routes of starting your studio, having if you don't have money, getting someone to back you and all that other shit. Like with fucking chickens, if I had a backer who could fund it, a producer, if I met someone who was into making movies, and I was able to go ahead and get the funding for it, I would do it in a heartbeat, completely 100%. Screw the comic, go straight into the movie. But when you're doing it all on your own funds, in your own time, all by yourself, you really got to come to a point where you have to choose your next move wisely, because you're stepping into a huge part of the project. Like the comic is a huge part, and I've stepped into it, but reluctantly, because I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to put this out there. Do I just do it and then say, here it is, America? Or do I figure out, do I do the typical Instagram posts? And then I figured, let me check on this Patreon thing that Macy told me about a couple weeks back, and I forgot to look it up. So I check it out, and Patreon basically is everything I do now, except it's like if all my followers were paying me $1, just using it as an example. But if all my Instagram followers paid me $1 a month just to view the content that I put on Instagram, that's $329 a month or something like that. And that's part-time cash, man. That's gas money. That's food money for the month. It's income, dude. And that's only 329 people. I looked it up, and I looked at other people's accounts, and I'm like, these people are being funded. They're being. If you live in a low-cost place, you can make a decent living, as long as you're putting out good content and you're giving people something, which is the key. I watched a interview with the creator. Oh shit, Jack. Fuck, what was Jack's last name? Conti, Jack Conti, yeah. And his wrap up on the interview was basically just to put out good shit and connect with your people. Because the bottom line is, even if they're kicking you $1 a month, they're kicking you $1 a month, man. So don't take it with the same lackadaisical approach you might take these standard social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that shit, where you could post something, get a bunch of likes, maybe a couple comments, and really you're not obligated to respond. You're not obligated to do anything. In this aspect, these are your guests. This is like the VIP of Instagram. So you want to make sure that these people are getting the treatment. And it's like, you got to treat it like it's your club. You got to treat it like it's, they walked in the door. And yeah, maybe they're paying $1, but they're still in the door. I mean, shit, if 1,000 people kick me $1, yeah, man, you bet your ass I'm going to treat you right. And you come in the door. So it's like, it's that kind of thing. So it brings me to a point where it's like, okay, so if I'm upping it, if I'm upping IZART Serrano, or, that's really what I meant to say. The question is, do I pump IZART Serrano or do I pump fucking chickens? I wouldn't mind just doing fucking chickens. I don't want to have two. Two would just be. Maybe I start with one, see how it goes. I'm probably just gonna do fucking chickens, because fucking chickens needs funding anyway, and anything I build on IZART Serrano is used for fucking chickens anyway. So I might as well just do fucking chickens on Patreon, and stick to that, man. And that way I can just still kick my shit on Instagram. I can promote fucking chickens on my Instagram, and then just link people to my Patreon and go from there. And I think that's what we're going to do, man. You see, talking this shit out helps. I appreciate you taking time to just listen to me talk about this. So, fucking chickens Patreon. Patreon, if you don't know, it's kind of like Kickstarter. You get little gifts or something. So, just for example, if you pay me $1 a month, I can probably, let me see. $1 a month, I could send you a signed print of whatever I sketched that month. Maybe I'll pick something that month, or maybe I'll do it weekly. Who knows? Uh, but you can get a signed sketch from one of the parts of the show that I'm working on during that week. So that's kind of cool. And let's say you give me $1 for that. And let's say for $5, you get access to the videos. And the videos could be like time lapse. So you get time lapse and you get the other stuff. So you get your new tier plus the previous tier. So you get the video content. Maybe the content is also podcasts, anything video, period. And maybe if you give me $5 a month, you get the video content plus you get the signed print. And then let's say the next tier is $25 a month. So $25 a month, maybe you get something even cooler. Maybe you get maybe I print out a new T-shirt every month, or you know what I'm saying. So you up it based on whatever these people are kicking you out a month. And there's also two different ways to do it. You can go monthly, like if you were subscribing to the content of the channel, or if I just decide, hey, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and just put out a oversized movie poster of fucking chickens, and it'll just be something that's on there, and you go ahead and just pay it one time and take that, and then I ship it to you. So it's kind of cool. You can do it that way too. But the point is that your followers are funding you. So, the more people who are interested in seeing the process of fucking chickens being made. See, that's the thing. It's not so much like Instagram where I'm posting whenever I post. There's an incentive. I need to make sure you guys keep up with what's going on because you're paying me to, Or right now, Instagram, I can just disappear for a week if I wanted to. But, you give me the incentive to keep going, which is part of the whole part where I was frustrated with just being on social media in general a couple of years back because I was just like, what's the incentive? Just likes. It's got to be more than just likes. I got to be doing this shit for more than just likes, And then I got over that hump simply by doing stuff for me. Like I was looking at it as I got to do stuff to post stuff. Like I had to do it because there was an audience or something, And once I got past that point of view and just stuck to my own shit and did what I want to do myself for me, and then I posted as I go, I just started working for myself, and sometimes I don't even post everything I work on. So it's like, now I see it in a different light. But with this, I gotta post because there's an audience, man. You guys are waiting to see the next sketch, the next ink, the next background, the next whatever. Which, damn, dude, you know how fucking cool that is when you really think about it? There's got to be movies out there now that are being made. Like, people are seeing some guy right now doing storyboards for a movie that eventually is going to come out on Netflix or Screenbox or whatever the next platform is. How crazy is that, right? Wow, man, shit's changing. TV is really done, man. TV is really done. These Patreon things are channels. You would be subscribing to me, even though it doesn't seem like much because you're kicking out $1. I mean, shit, look what you're getting from Netflix for less than $10 or whatever it is now. I think it's like $9 or whatever. Still, that's a lot of content. And if you look at the documentaries, dude, you can get a full-on education in sociology just from watching Netflix. So, yeah, man, the platform is completely changing, and it's just exciting to watch. And now, like, the everyday Joe has a chance to be a part of it. I mean, shit, you can make a Patreon showing people how you cut the grass. Maybe you do a time-lapse video of how you cut the lawn, and you set up a GoPro or some shit. You teach people a little bit about your mower, how to maintain it, little tips to make something that people hate doing a little bit easier. How to store your shit, how to clean it off, you know, what to do to your mower, when winter approaches and you're not going to be using it for a while, maintenance, shit like that. But you could do that shit on a Patreon. Could you imagine? And then if you had a product that you could sell, you know, a little tool all in one that you could use to clean out your mower, like a skate key for a mower. Man, the shit you could do, right? What if I bet you skaters have Patreons and you put out skate videos. I'm telling you, anybody could do this. If you do haircuts, you could do a Patreon for haircuts, showing people how you do your hair and whatnot. I mean, come on, man. People show their tits on Patreon. Come on. I looked it up. Believe me, I know. This girl makes $16,000 a month, Jack. That's what it showed her. $16,000 a month. Insane. But that's real life, dude. That's real life. You can do anything you want as long as there's an audience willing to watch. So that's the wrap, man. 16 minutes. What we gonna do? Just talking it up. You want a solid 20? I'll give you a solid 20. I was doing a podcast the other night. I was a little too drunk for that, but I was doing it anyway because I had a funny idea in my head about a hip-hop story related to, it popped in my head because I was thinking about cassettes and things like that. And so I'll go ahead and give you this one next. Let's see if I could give it to you in 3 minutes. All right, so here's the deal. It's Germany. It's 1987, and I'm in Germany for the first time. And Walkmans, cassettes, all that stuff is standard when you're riding a school bus. So I'm at the store, and this soldier puts me on MC Hammer. And I'm like, who's MC Hammer? And he said, oh, it's the newest thing, man. MC Hammer's dope. You got to check him out. So I was like, all right. So my dad drops the money on MC Hammer. Gets me a cassette. I'm on the bus stop, rocking MC Hammer for a couple of days. Word gets out that I got Hammer. And this kid, Tron, no shit, that's Tron's name, Tron. He's a high school kid. Now remember, I'm probably 4th grade, 5th grade. I'm a little kid. So Tron comes out, hey man, I heard you got that MC Hammer, man. I got this Stetson Sonic. It's dope. You got to check it out. If you switch with me, I'll make a copy, and you make a copy, and then tomorrow I'll bring it back on the bus, and you go ahead and we'll switch back. And I was like, all right. So I take Stetson Sonic. I give Tron MC Hammer. Honestly, I didn't even get to listen to it. I didn't even get to record it. But the next day comes, and I'm thinking, shit, I got to ask Tron for another day because I didn't get to record it. And he's got my MC Hammer still. So it's a Friday. We're at the bus line. I don't really know too many people because I'm telling you I was new, maybe a week in Germany. And I don't see Tron on Friday. No big deal. Weekend comes. I'm hoping my father doesn't ask to hear MC Hammer. I just kind of kept to myself, did my thing. He never knew. He never said anything. So Monday comes, back in line, I don't see Tron. I'm on the bus, I don't see Tron. I see his friends, and I'm like, yo, you know where Tron is? He's got my MC Hammer. And this kid goes, you gave Tron your MC Hammer? And the other kid goes, Tron is gone. And the other kid goes, bye-bye, MC Hammer. I said, what do you mean he's gone? They said, Tron went to the States, man. He PCS'd, bro. He's gone. His family went back to the States over the weekend. He left on Friday, as a matter of fact. And I'm like, what? They said, yep. And then people look like, why you gave Tron your cassette? Don't you know who Tron is? I'm like, no, I don't know who Tron is. I don't even know who you are. I'm new. Now I got to tell my dad. So I get home. And I go ahead and pop in Stetson Sonic. I'm like, let's go ahead and see what I got for my money. Stetson Sonic might have been better than MC Hammer. Who knows? I'm listening, man. And this ain't even Stetson Sonic. It's Keith Sweat. And I'm like, and it was a blank, but it said Stetson Sonic in marker on the fucking label. And the shit was Keith Sweat. The whole cassette was Keith Sweat. Not even like the first track, Keith Sweat, and then somebody dubs the rest of it Stetsasonic. Or maybe it was on only one side. No, man, the whole thing was Keith Sweat. And I was just like, what? And this is Keith Sweat before he became Keith Sweat. This is like maybe his first album or whatever. This is Keith Sweat from the 80s. I am not interested in Keith Sweat. I was interested in my fucking MC Hammer, but I thought, hey man, I'm the new kid and this kid's reaching out. He wants to do a flip and we'll go ahead and get more music. And who doesn't want more hip hop? Why not? So Tron took off for my MC Hammer. How about that? Somewhere in America, this Korean American kid was rocking out to MC Hammer on an 8-hour flight back to the States. He was probably like, man, I need some music. I need to hustle one of these kids. Let me make some fake Stetsasonic cassettes. He probably had a whole bunch of shit. He figured he was going all out. He probably cleaned out a bunch of people that day and dipped. Fucking guy. All right, that's a wrap. I'll catch up with you guys next week. Take it easy. And listen, man, if you want to follow me on Patreon, I might as well start talking about that shit now. It's going to be fucking chickens on Patreon. So keep an eye out. I'm going to post alerts for it on Instagram and shit. So keep an eye out and it'll be coming to you soon. Later.